What is going on? We are now in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am here with the legendary Broc Glover, and we have another track to show you guys.
Absolutely, here at the beautiful U.S. Bank Stadium, and a little different. I want to show you my phone, just like last week. Last week we talked about how it was 80 degrees at 10 a.m. in Anaheim, and then it went up to 90 degrees while the riders were on the track in the practice. Well, guess what? -2. So my math says 92-degree swing here in just a week, and that's quite a change. Luckily, inside, full dome.
Right.
We're only wearing kind of light sleeves, probably 60 degrees here. But let's check out this track. It's a little different than usual.
Definitely.
In fact, right off the start, we can turn the camera here. Immediately, we do a small drop-off here, and it's not just any old drop-off. It's a steep little curve here. So the 450 riders and 250 riders, as soon as they launch off here, they'll be still in the same gear they came off the gate most likely, but right about here they're probably going to use a shift point. But This is an interesting feature. We've seen drop-aways, but I don't know if we've seen a curve. Yeah. So start is about 260 feet long, kind of middle length, not anything real long considering it is a football stadium, but it's a little tighter floor than we see at a big one like Glendale. And I'm thinking with about 1,855 feet for the track, Joseph, and I think that's going to put us right in the high 40s, maybe 50-second range. So first corner, left-hander. Early schedule today, I'll tell you. There's a lot of sleepy eyes in the riders. Track walk at 7 a.m. local time, and early program. Mains will be over earlier. See all the riders kind of working their way out right now. First corner, flat corner. No real berm on the outside. Should separate, but goes right into a kind of a tricky little rhythm section. If anybody saw some of the social media posts last night, this is a section that unfortunately we saw Jet Reynolds get a little sideways on that and go down. And have you heard anything about his Jet's progress?
I've heard that he's okay, but I think it's going to be the team's final call, considering that he's still a newer guy. It'll be the team's final call to see whether or not he races today. But I think he got lucky. In comparison to what could have happened with that crash.
Yeah, I'd heard as much everything from he's okay to he's maybe broken arm. So who knows at this point? Hopefully he'll be out there. But we talk about Jet Reynolds because this is the first round of the 250 SX East class. So very stacked. My goodness, a lot of riders here. I think you got upward of in the 70s in the entries, where in the West Coast we'd be lucky to have 45 entries. So not sure, just maybe part of the Arena Cross series. A couple of the teams that competed in that series are here, and that's just made a big field for the 250 class. Speaking of big fields, one of the preseason favorites for the 250, RJ Hampshire there on the Rockstar Husqvarna. RJ, are you feeling kind of peppy here? How you doing, man?
Always peppy. Everybody's peppy for the first round.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
A little coffee in the hand. Like I said, it's pretty early today for a track walk at 7 a.m. What do you think of the early schedule as your first round?
No, I mean, I don't mind the early races. It's a little chilly here in Minneapolis, so. I mean, other than that, I should enjoy it. I'm East Coast, so the time change isn't much of a difference. But those late man events on the East Coast, man, whenever you're on the West, you don't go to bed till dang 1:30 just to stay up and watch it. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure you do stay up and watch. You still do it even at this many years. You got to watch and see what your competition's doing, what's going on. Huh?
Yeah, you always learn something.
Yep, same here. After all these years, still a fan of Supercross. How can you not be, right? Okay, right out of a tough little bowl corner there, and into this rhythm section right here. As you can see, the riders lined up all the way down. There's actually 11 obstacles here, and from what I can tell and what I think's going to happen, I think the 450s with that extra grunt coming out of the corner, I think the top guys are going to be able to get 3-3-3. So that's obviously 9, and then just double in the last 2 to complete the 11.
You think we're going to see some 3 ends coming in?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some 3 ends on the 450. It's a long ways, but the 250s, maybe it's going to see more of a 2-3 combo.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think the 450s, it's a chuck right here coming right out of that corner. But Man, these bikes now have so much front coming out of the corner. They can get it. I think they can.
Yeah.
So speaking of 450s, we see Cooper Webb's all dressed for the cold. Got your Sorel type boots on. What do you think, man? Yeah. I think the Yamaha. I'm trying to think who was all here for press. It seemed like some of the 250 class. A lot of the 250 was here, but the 450 class, I just mostly saw the Star Yamaha from Monster Energy team there with Tomac and Ferrandis, but not a whole lot of 450s on the track yesterday.
This dirt.
Yeah. Boy, hey, talking about a difference of dirt, Joseph. 24 hours, honestly, not even that, 12 hours. We can feel the heat has been turned on in the stadium. You can feel a little warm air.
Yeah.
It's really actually quite comfortable. But I can feel the dirt that it almost feels like it has a crust on it, where the top surface has dried out, but underneath, I believe underneath it's probably still going to be kind of soft
And tacky.
Yeah, it is. A lot of good traction, I think, available here. The Dirtworks crew have been working overtime, no question about it. It's hard to work with dirt that's been outside, picking up moisture and snow, and then you bring it inside, it starts to thaw out. So they're doing a great job, though, right here. So at the end of this rhythm, we talked about 3-3-3-2, or a combination thereof for the 250s, into just a sharp 90-degree, immediately following just a step-up double right here. So bit of a little shot here.
I think it goes into a very interesting section. I think down at the end here, we have 1, 2, 3, and then this corner, it's an elevated turn. But I think the outside has like a lip for you to potentially jump out, or the inside, so you have an option section coming into.
Yeah, we saw the elevated corner at the last Anaheim race, and it was interesting. We did see some passing there. So again, we are at an elevated corner. The track map shows a little bit different combination here, but considering how soft the dirt was to work with, they eliminated or modified the layout of the course and just have the one set of whoops that will be coming to pretty soon. But yeah, it's a nice little knuckle on the outside here, easily to jump there. Inside, for sure, it's going to be a roll and hit the single, and jump up onto the table, probably clearing the downside of the table there. See Nick Way, right? How are you guys doing?
What's up, guys?
What's
What's happening, man?
Joseph.
Nice to meet you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
What's up?
Nothing much.
You know how long it took me to find this place?
I know. I tell you, favorite motocross movie of all time, baby.
All time.
There you go, man. Winners take all. I cannot believe I didn't get a nomination or something for that role.
I'm pumped that you're claiming it finally.
Well, I know. The first time I ever met Nick, Des Moines Arena Cross. You remember?
Oh
Des Moines Arena Cross.
Was that where Pops threw your bike in the box fan, just zipping up the suspension?
Yeah, my dad told me
it was cold.
We just talked about this because I said my bike was too soft. My dad said let's put it in the van for a while because it's cold out.
Oh, so his suspension was too soft at the Arena Cross. Put it outside into 20-degree weather, and it makes it a lot stiffer, right?
Yeah, well, I think the theory was my dad was thinking it was thicken up the oil.
Well, I think the theory was pretty right. Did it work? I don't know. How old were you? 14, 15?
Yeah, my dad took me there when I was pretty young.
Yeah.
Like 15 to 17. Probably.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me, which riders are you working with? I mean, you just first East Coast race, so you're working with a new group of guys, huh?
Just Cameron here. So
Okay.
we've been working together the last couple years, and then he's made some big gains, and I think he'll be good here today. I'm excited to see him.
Well, very good. Yeah, so we're coming off this section right here. Just a real tight U-turn. It's almost a full 180 without much, just like a half berm here. But man, is this a steep one. You can see the riders up there, you know, one of the Twisted Tea staff, they're literally on their hands and knees crawling up. I'm gonna have to get a run for this thing. But
This is a full tabletop.
and it's a full face. Look at you can watch the riders going up.
It's almost like a wall jump tabletop.
It is. I don't know, Joseph. What do you think? Ready? Set, go.
Yeah. He does this at each round. This head is in premier shape.
All right. Okay. All right.
Dude,
Shane,
makes it
good
look
job.
easy every time.
Trusty cameraman. Shane gets up, no problem. So yeah, so we're coming right into a tabletop here. Smooth downside, typical finish line jump. Probably your 64, 65 footer that we always kiddingly talk about, but it is good for these guys to know about what it is. So they kind of know if something goes wrong and they don't hit the jump exactly right, you know, I can still make it or I can't make it. It's not something that they haven't done before, maybe on practice tracks or previous races. So again, I'm really pleasantly surprised how nice actually the dirt looks. It's dried out very well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, normally when we walk these tracks, it's like super soaking wet because they just watered it.
Yeah.
What's the reason for not watering it today? Just because it's already...
Well, it already has moisture. See, so when you take this dirt and it's sitting out in the parking lot and it has snow sitting on it, the moisture works down inside the dirt. Take a big pile of dirt, put it in here, and you've got moisture down buried inside these big jumps. Whoa. After a while, temperature comes up stadium, that moisture starts thawing out. Some of this dirt could actually be frozen when they bring it in. So then it starts thawing out, and then you've got this seepage that starts happening. That's how the jumps can become softer. So the Dirtworks crews really learned over years to be able to deal with that. And that's why they want this to dry out. It's pretty easy for them to put some water on it later. And there's one little secret here, maybe like the water truck's stuck behind a few things in the tunnel right now. They probably would have put a little more water on this morning, but the water truck is just now kind of getting into the stadium. So, whoa. And when you're dealing with, you know, literally sub-zero temperatures outside, water trucks and filling water trucks and doing all the things, it's dealt with a little differently than it is in the 80-degree West Coast.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know that about like the snow and the seepage and everything.
yeah, they get some seepage sometimes in these jumps, and it can make the faces seem hard, and then you break through that crust, and then the rut, once it breaks through, the ruts develop really fast, and they get deep quickly. So this right here, the West Coast guys are sitting there going, what the, you know what? They can't believe in their mind, these are dozer-built whoops, and they are, I don't want to say half as bad as they were in the West Coast, but they are much 30% easier than we saw on the West Coast. The West Coast, they had some tough whoops. As you saw from the races, they were a very integral part of the outcome, and it made a big difference.
Let's do this. Let's do the side shot to show.
Yeah, this is not quite as deep as we saw last time, but so I think we have 8 or 9 of them right in a row. Again, dozer whoops. You can even see the tracks where they, you know, some of those are from where the skid steers, but it's I don't want to call them easier, but it's certainly, yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's they are easier than what we saw on the West Coast, but not possible to build the other type of whoops because of the fact that the dirt was
Really?
So meet me at the
All right, hold on. Here.
the 7 dudes stews, man. So standard stock triple right here. Don't need to walk over each one. Again, 62 to 64 feet. Got our twisted T-Riders checking it out. Hey, we got a moment of quiet. That's kind of nice here. Coming off of this triple right here, another interesting corner. We saw this layout similar in the Anaheims and other tracks. 90 degree, shot right across the front of the starting gate here. No sand. So last time we had a couple of sand sections in there in a few of the tracks. Had some interesting contact points, some passing, but this is just going to be a pretty much straight run right across the front of the starting gate. Don't want to be drifting too far to the left there, that's for sure. You'll run right into the curb that we saw earlier at the beginning of this launch. So, as we work our way around, another 90. See Aaron Plessinger checking it out.
With the boots on?
You know, you got the boots, but where's the cowboy hat? AP, where's the cowboy hat? Don't you have a beanie cowboy hat? Come on, man.
Yeah, it was frozen to the couch.
He said it was frozen to the couch. Well, walking around with Jade Dungy there, so he's no stranger to the cold weather. Speaking of Dungies, I was looking, I heard Ryan's here doing some stuff with KJSC and doing his St. Jude and all the charities and things that Ryan is involved with. His wife Lindsay's due with their baby. I think tomorrow is technically the due date, so he's going to be another proud papa soon. Check out, see some of our East Coast riders there. So coming out of this section right here, again, we've got a real 90 degree, pretty basic, straightforward. Looks like just going to be a double here, probably with a triple here. Or you could go maybe, we'll see, I haven't seen if somebody gets a triple here, triple double, but I'm thinking it's more likely going to be a double triple. But right here at the base you can see where some of this dirt is pretty darn soft. It's you're going to see a lot of ruts develop through across this here, so it would be nice if you could actually do a double and triple. You want to be airborne. You want to be off rhythm of the ruts as the race works on. Maybe the main event, lap 18, lap 20, whatever it is. This can be a lot of laps. This could be 26 maybe, 25 to 26 lap main event. So it's gonna be a long one. So here's another nice interesting section. We're actually standing on top of the starting line. This is where the first corner is. And as we run down here, we hit straight into another double, or I call it a double. It's really a single into a tabletop, but the riders are downsiding the tabletop in most cases. So, and you don't really, you can only take a good educated guess of what they're going to do, but they always seem to surprise me as they switch up the combinations. So here, after this table, and if they don't land on the downside here and single in, they'll jump up and then clear this. So it's probably going to be faster to sort of scrub the first one, land on top, and clear this, because if you land at the base of this and launch into the berm, you're going to have a hard time making a really good clean turn. So see what happens. It's almost a flipped, absolute mirror image obstacles right here. It's one long single that gets ridden this direction and then coming back at us. One gigantic tabletop that's just split in two, so it's one tabletop going both directions, and again one single doing the same. So really, when they built this for the track, they just built what's considered double wide. I mean, that's what it is. It's a double wide lane obstacle. So
Let's take some questions before we end this thing.
all right.
Tire choice for today.
Boy, that's a good one. We got a lot of traction here. People are gonna. Really, the riders, as good as the Dirtworks crew is with the tracks, the Dunlop riders primarily, and almost all the riders that I see from all brands, they use about the same tire almost everywhere. West Coast, we saw people lean a little bit towards something. If they had something that's mid to mid hard, that area, they would go that way. But in general, I think you're going to see mostly like the intermediate to softer terrain tires, more aggressive patterns.
What about tire pressure?
It depends if it ruts up. If it ruts up, riders tend to go a little higher in the tire pressure so they don't catch the edges, maybe in the whoops and the places like that. But in general, you're going to see for the Dunlop riders somewhere around the 13 to 13.5 for the front, and in the rear they'll go as low as 11.5 to 12, somewhere in that area, maybe as high as 12.5 if the ruts happen. So it's usually about 1 pound higher in the front than it is in the rear.
All right, which 250 East riders would you say people need to look out for today?
Well, there's obviously you have Jet Lawrence is everybody's proverbial favorite going into round one. Popular rider. I'm actually interested, and I don't know about the podium necessarily, but Brandon Hartranft has been riding very well in the 450 class, kind of sneaky levels, and I'm thinking in the 250 class he's going to actually be better. I'd say he could be a very strong top 5. He's been battling the 450 riders every single week, so I'm expected to see him in the top 5. And then there's always RJ Hampshires. There's so many riders that are top level, and who knows what's going to happen with the Pro Circuit team. We saw Cameron McAdoo earlier. There's all these riders that are in there, but certainly Jet Lawrence is going to have to be your number 1 favorite. So check it. Yeah. So overall, I mean, the track looks pretty darn good to me. Again, it's a little shorter. I think you're going to be about 50 seconds or so. So that's what I expect it to be, a good day. So we can continue down here, do a little bowl corner, or it's going to be able to wrap up the track walk. Again, it's a little shorter than your normal track, so that's why you're going to see the lap times be a little quicker. Riders are going to do more laps. Makes it hard for the track crew, that's for sure, because the more laps the riders do, the more maintenance they've got to do on the track.
That's it. about? See all this right here? They stand on these people?
Never short on words.
Bro, you ain't even gonna know about that shit. You're gonna be too worried about this.
What are you thinking, man? Come on, you're always not sure.
Okay, this is what I'm telling you.
Yep.
It's soft underneath. I think it's like false dry right now. We're walking on it. It looks good. But I think there's going to be a false sense of dryness. I think by the third practice, it's going to rut up like unbelievable. And then I think you're going to need a really stiff suspension setup today. And it's going to be one of those tracks where I feel like you got to be smoother and more, what do you want to call it? Just more rhythmic than kind of forcing this. The jumps are really, really steep. I mean, I'm sure you guys seen that. It's definitely different than the other rounds where they just made everything super peaky. So it's going to slow it down a little bit more. And I think the technical riders are going to have an advantage this weekend. As you guys seen, the whoops aren't really going to be a player.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I noticed a lot of guys complaining, the West Coast guys saying, oh, the lights guys were like, oh, they build the whoop so small. But honestly, there's nothing you can do. With this dirt, with this track, it all comes down to the condition of the dirt. And I think the Dirt Works guys and the AMA did a really good job of making the whoops that small, because if you make the whoops big here, they just break down. They're going to turn into jumpers, whether we like it or not. So you might as well build them small. They're not going to be skipping whoops. In California, the dirt packs up. They're going to stay skippers most of the time, as you guys seen. I think what was Ken Roxon jumping them pretty early. And it just wasn't as fast, Skipping the whoops on the West Coast is the way to go. East Coast, you're going to see a much different riding style in the whoops. It's going to cater to guys like Marvin Muscan. Actually, now that I think of it, Marvin, this could be a really great track for Marvin to have a good breakout ride, just because it is so technical. Other than that,
we talked about that earlier, about the crust of the dirt looks nice and firm, but once it breaks through, it's going to keep going deeper, deeper, deeper. I do think you're right on the fact that the dirt has, I guess, like a mantle, like the Earth's mantle.
Yes.
It's going to be firm on the top, and once it breaks through, it goes. And great point on the whoops there, that if you build them, the bigger you build them, the deeper they rut.
Yeah, totally.
And that's really what's happened. So the fact that they didn't build them really tall and they left them where hopefully riders can race them instead of just get caught in a rut. So
yeah, and I think one of the good points about that too is when you build them big, most of the time there's one rut.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're so big, it becomes one main line.
Yep.
Hopefully what we're doing by building them smaller is we're going to create multiple lines, because it's not going to be just one, elite line.
Yep.
Hopefully there'll be like 2 or 3, so there will be passing and stuff like that. So
In the old school days, they used to actually literally, when a rut developed, they would put a hay bale there and make you go on the other side of it.
Oh, you know what? I think I did see that.
That was, and it was a good concept but you can't do that now because of qualifying.
Yes.
Every lap is almost a qualifying lap. So the fact that every lap's a qualifying lap, you can't really make the fastest line go away and make people ride to the slower line. So very good. Looks like they're getting the riders meeting going on. So I think you better go join and go meet some riders.
Yeah.
And we're gonna sign off here. And Joseph, you get your sound check all finished up. We're ready to go and wrap up as we come off of this. We talked about this tabletop being just a great big wide tabletop, same as the first jump. Right here, pop off, and then once you pop off here, we re-enter the track, and that's pretty much it from the U.S. Bank Stadium here in beautiful Minneapolis. And I'm looking forward to the first round of the 250SX class on the East Coast, because everybody, that first race jitters, and we got a stacked field, a lot of riders.
It's like an all-star class.
It really is. It's funny how, I don't want to call it heavily biased it is, but it seems to be pretty biased towards that. The Arena Cross Series ended, so you got a couple of teams that joined, and then 40 riders are going to make the night program. And last I looked, there was 72 on the entry.
That means 30 are going home.
32 riders are going to be packing up and going, man, that was a early morning. Did not even make the night program. So,
if you were to make a prediction, who do you think in the 250 class?
Well, we just had that same question online. We missed that. But, I had to say that Jet Lawrence is going to be a hard one to go against. And but you never know, first race.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I don't know, because Jet, it's for the first round. I think if he doesn't make any mistakes, it's his. But I'm giving him room to kind of get warmed up this season, and I think that if he does make a minor mistake here or there, I think Jeremy Martin will be there to capitalize. So Jeremy Martin, if Jet isn't able to stay smooth, if Jet's able to stay smooth, no one will be able to touch him.
You know what? I left out J Mart there, and I should have never done that. It's a home race for him. It's a home crowd.
Yeah.
And I think you're spot on there. He knows how to. He's a seasoned vet. He knows how to get in there. So. Very good, but you were a little wishy-washy on that Jet there. Yeah. you kind of left yourself a lot out. Okay. All right, 450 class. Let's talk about 450s.
450s? For some reason, I'm feeling like this is a Chase Sexton type of track, but I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know. That's just the feeling that I'm getting because of like the technical, like the turn with the lip, the shorter whoop section. So it's not really like that plays a big factor into it. The peaky jumps in the rhythms. I don't know. I think it may favor Chase.
Oh, good call there. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I tell you, the start's going to be super critical.
Yeah.
And it's a short start, and I think the riders. I'm almost positive you're going to have to be in the top. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I've been there before many times. But the fact is, I think you're going to have to be in the top 3 for sure, maybe 5.
Around the first turn?
Yeah, or you're not going to have a chance to win. There's too many good riders. The parity is so good this year, the 450 class. So many top guys are capable of winning. So that's it. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week from Arlington, Texas. And that's it.
That's right.
Thank you.